Today I'm going to talk about 12-month T-bills, and there's actually a grand total of only 4 this year, so they're actually quite rare. So what does it mean? Does rarer mean better, like ingot or shiny Pokemon? Let's find out. I'm going to talk through the pros and cons of 12-month T-bills, particularly compared to 6-month ones, and you can make up your mind whether or not they are suitable for you. We'll start with the first pro, and that is there's actually less reinvestment risk when you subscribe to 12-month T-bills as opposed to shorter tenure ones like 6-month T-bills. Reinvestment risk is the risk that you may not be able to invest the proceeds of a particular investment effectively when it matures. So for example, if you invest in a 6-month T-bill, 6 months later, the rates may have fallen, and therefore when you reinvest this amount of money, you get a lower rate. This reinvestment risk, however, I think in the short term may not be such a big issue because I think most people expect that rates will be around the same or maybe even slightly higher over the next year or so. And therefore, the risk of you not being able to reinvest your 6-month T-bill 6 months later at a higher rate or at least a similar level, I think is very, very low. But who knows what can happen? Stranger things have happened. So will rates fall 6 months later from now? Okay, leave me your comments below to let me know what you think. Reinvestment risk, I think, also refers to the risk of forgetting or being too busy to reinvest your 6-month T-bill 6 months later. So a 12-month one is actually less troublesome because you buy it now and then you have the interest rates for the next 12 months. You don't have to reinvest it 6 months later because it's locked for the next 12 months. Yeah, so overall it's just less hassle. And that brings me to my next point where a 12-month T-bill is going to be less troublesome because even if you're applying online, like I mentioned, 6 months later, you may forget to reinvest your 6-month T-bill. No such problem there for 12 months one. You only need to remember 12 months later. And for those using their CPF savings to invest in T-bills, this means that you queue one time fewer because 6-month T-bills, of course, you need to queue now. 6 months later, you need to queue again to reinvest your 6-month T-bill proceeds. Whereas a 12-month one, you queue one time and then you just need to remember next year, right, to do it again if you want to continue to invest your CPF savings. So that's another pro I can think of. You actually have to do it fewer times. Now, even online applications, sometimes I think are already quite troublesome for busy individuals. So if you have to queue at a bank, that's even worse. And therefore, 12-month T-bills will save you the trouble of queuing too often. Also, when it comes to bonds and T-bills, a longer tenure usually means higher interest rates. However, and this is a big however, we know that the yield curve is inverted right now, and therefore this may not be true because if you look at October's 1-year T-bill, which was the last 1-year T-bill before this, the rate was actually slightly lower than a 6-month T-bill, and I think that is likely going to play out that way over the next few months or so. So this year's 1-year T-bill might not have higher returns compared to 6 months one. So do note that this pro does not apply right now at the time of filming. So if you're watching this in future, yes, it may apply in normal times where longer tenure bonds have higher returns, but for now, it is not that applicable. Now, there's a way to get guaranteed US $150 worth of goodies when you sign up for Webull with the link shown on the screen now and accomplish a few easy steps. Now, this is the most generous sign-up gift that Webull has offered, and you get a great trading app with very low fees, in fact, zero commission for US stock trading. And you can do things like buy stocks, buy options, and even subscribe to mutual funds, which is a new feature that they just introduced. Whether you're new to investing or have been doing it for some time, Webull has something for everyone, and it includes my favorite feature of fractional trading where you can buy stocks from as low as US $5 per trade and other great features. So check out my link for more details and sign up today before the promo runs out. Thanks for signing up and keeping this channel going, and thanks to Webull for sponsoring my video. Now let's move on to the cons. And if you have watched my video about things you should take note of before you invest in T-bills, you'll know that there's a potential to lose as much as 8 months of interest when you invest in a 6-month T-bill. And when it comes to a 12-year T-bill, you may actually stand to lose 14 months of interest from your CPF OA account. And therefore, you need to be very careful about the issue and the maturity date when it comes to 12-month T-bills as well. If you look at the January 1-year T-bill, it matures in 30th January 2024, and the money will be put into your CPF investment account. And then after that, you need a few days for it to be transferred back to your OA to accumulate OA interest. And therefore, by the time it reaches your OA account, it will be February 2024, and that represents 14 months of lost interest from your CPF OA account. And this is due to the way CPF calculates interest, right? Money that comes into your account in this month will not generate return for that month. It has to wait until the next month to start generating interest. And money that's taken out from your CPF OA will not generate interest for that particular month, even if you take it out on the last day for that month. And do take note of this fact when it comes to using your CPF OA to invest. This issue is not present in the April and October 1-year T-bills. And for the July T-bill, I am actually not sure. I think you need your CPF OA money to be in your investment account before 1st August. The maturity date for that T-bill is 30th July, and therefore proceeds will again go to your investment account, and then by the time you transfer it back to your OA account, it will be August, and therefore that's another 1 month, making 40 months of lost OA interest. So do take note of that, and one way to mitigate this con would be that you can actually just continue to invest into a subsequent T-bill at that point of time, rather than putting it back into your OA account. Of course, this is subject to reinvestment risk because rates might not be that good at the time your T-bill matures and the money goes back into your investment account. Now take note that yields are inverted at the present moment, meaning to say longer tenure bonds are now giving less interest rate instead of the usual more interest rates. So we can expect the 1-year T-bill to not give such a good return, or at least around the same as a 6-month T-bill, which leads me to wonder, then why would you lock up your funds for 1 year when a 6-month T-bill gives you similar returns? This is more applicable for people who are using cash to invest in T-bills, because if you just lock up your CPF for 12 months, I think that's okay since your CPF savings are generally locked up anyway. But if you're using cash to invest in a 12-month T-bill, you should expect to get higher returns, not around similar or even less return as we have seen in the October 2022 issue. And therefore, that is a con of a 12-month T-bill. You actually lose more liquidity, but you do not get significantly higher return. You might even get lower return as a result. And with interest rates this high, right, there are a lot of instruments that are trying to take your money. Banks are giving high interest rates, fixed deposit are giving high interest rates. And so I think liquidity is at a premium right now, and you should actually choose 6-month T-bill instead, especially if you are using cash. In summary, I feel that whether or not you should go for a 12-month T-bill depends on the convenience factor. If you're someone who just prefers less trouble, right, by all means go for the 12-month one. I don't think the rates will be that much lower than a 6-month T-bill, and you spend less time and effort fussing over it, particularly if you are going to use your CPF OA to do it and have to queue at the bank. Now, even online applications take some time and bandwidth out of our daily lives, and therefore, if you just want, right, a 12-month place to put your money, a 12-month T-bill can be a good idea. Now, if you are someone who is very particular about liquidity, interest rates, and things like that, I think a 6-month T-bill will be more suitable, especially if you are okay with the added trouble of reinvesting your 6-month T-bill after half a year. Now, let me know in the comments below whether or not you'll be going for a 12-month T-bill, a 6-month T-bill, or is there somewhere else you're putting in your funds. Personally speaking, I am actually not that much into T-bills anymore. I have funds in my UOB1 account, and that gives me 5% every month. Although I do have to fulfill some requirements like making spend and crediting my salary, which are things that I do normally anyway. So it's not as fast free as T-bills, but to me it's very convenient and I get 5% per annum return. Of course, the rate is not guaranteed and can change anytime, but I hope that at least for the next year or so, UOB1 maintains its interest and I don't have to lock up my funds in 6 months or 12-month T-bill. But people who want the rate for at least 12 months, yeah, right, there is a 12-month T-bill now in January, closing date 25th January, 9 p.m. And there are 3 more to come in 2023. Now, whether or not you're buying a 1-year T-bill or a 6-month T-bill, do refer to my video on things you should take note of before you buy a T-bill. And also subscribe to my Telegram group if you like great financial deals and updates on saving products, T-bills, etc. Right? And I'll see you in that video and my Telegram group.